Starting your very first business sounds really exciting, and it is, but it is also very scary, and this is where people get very overwhelmed just because they can't see a way forward because there's so many steps involved in it, so they just quit. Well, take it from someone that's been there and done it, had the wins, had a lot of losses and a lot of learning points. There is a way forward, and it's not as difficult as you think it is, as long as you have the right steps. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Michael J. I build 6- and 7-figure businesses, and it is my passion and calling in life to teach as many people to do the same thing. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 essential steps you need to start your very first business. So the first step in this crazy, amazing journey that you're just about to embark on is to come up with a business idea. Now, you might know what niche you're in or area, but coming up with an idea or a business that you can make money on can be quite difficult. And this is an area that I see a lot of people struggling, to be honest, because it can be difficult coming up with ideas. You might know what area you're in, but things to actually sell, products, services, whatever it may be, it can be difficult to come up with those ideas. So this step is all about conceptualizing your ideas. And the first part of this step is to start brainstorming any ideas that you've got. And where I would focus my attention on is my passions, hobbies, or interests. And the reason for that is because if you've got some kind of liking for something or passion for something, you're probably going to stick at it. And that's definitely where I recommend all of my business coaching clients to start. So once we've got our hobbies, passions, and interests all brainstormed out, we need to then choose one of those. I wouldn't go with multiple. Choose one. It's just going to be much more simple. We can always come back if we spend a little bit of time inside a particular niche and you don't really like it after a few months, but we're going to choose one thing and we're going to move forward with that. And once we've got that, we then need to delve in very deeply and start doing a lot of research. We need to be knees deep and we need to be saturating our minds full of information on that particular niche. And in that, we're going to be watching a lot of YouTube videos. We're going to be in Discord groups. We're going to be asking a lot of questions. We're going to be in Twitters, and we're just going to be immersing ourselves in that particular area for a number of purposes. So firstly, it's going to give us more knowledge in that area. It's then also going to give us ideas, right? So we need business ideas, we need products and services that we're going to sell in that particular niche. And it's also going to give us ideas of who is the main players in the market, right? So who are our main competitors. So it's going to give us lots of ideas there. It's going to give us lots of information to be going with, and we're going to become masters. And we're going to be doing this for a good 3 to 6 months. This is not an overnight thing. We need to be immersing ourselves because we need to become subject matter experts, even though you might have had a lot of experience in the past in this particular passion, hobby, or interest. We need to delve deeper and we need to become absolute masters at this, because what we're going to do in that whole process is identify problems that need solving. We're going to look at our competition, what they're creating in terms of products and services, what content they're being putting out there, and then in 3 to 6 months time, you're going to get a very good idea of what problems are out there, and then we're going to create solutions to solve those problems, and that is what our products and services are going to be. And an area that people go wrong in here is focusing on what they would like to provide in the market. I've been there and I've done it with this and I've been bitten by it. And so don't go into this thinking, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to create this and this is going to solve the problem. We need to go from real world data and what you see as solving real problems and not what you want to bring forward. And then once we've got that nailed down, we are then going to provide a unique proposition. So our product and service is going to solve a particular problem, but we need a USP, which is a unique selling point. And this is what's going to make us stand out in the market, and it's also going to solve a real world problem. So now we have our idea, which is going to take us a good 3 to 6 months to get. As I mentioned before, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but now we've got that idea. What we need to do is create and test our MVP, which is our minimum viable product. Because what we don't want to do in this is spend loads of time, effort, and money on creating our final product, put it out into the market, and then no one buys it. Because just because you've got an idea and we've got real world problems that we're solving essentially, it doesn't mean our product that we've created is going to sell. So this process is all about creating that MVP, testing it, getting some real world data, and then looking at refining that product. And this is another area I see people massively go wrong in. I don't know whether it's an ego thing, but they'll create this product thinking that it's going to do this, that, and the other. They'll put it out there and it doesn't sell. Well, that's a little bit backwards, really. What we want to do is we want to test this thing out and get almost warm leads that we know people like or don't like, and the things that people don't like, obviously we're going to make changes to it, but at least this whole process is testing that, and we're going to find out if people like what we're offering or not. And the best way to do this, once you've created this minimal viable product, is to give something away for free to your potential audience. And this can come in any form, to be honest. There's loads of ideas out there, but I'm going to give you one, and that could be a webinar. It could be a webinar on the particular niche or product and service that you're looking to sell. And at the end of it, you can send out a questionnaire, for example, or you're going to get some kind of feedback in giving that free thing away. And then you can see if people really like it, if they don't like it, if they're kind of like, and you need to work on it a little bit, whether it's content, whether it's the price, whatever it is. You're going to get real world data by giving this free thing away. So let's say that you've done that now and you've got loads of feedback, real world feedback. We now know what product we've got. That's essentially our finalized product that's been developed from the MVP. And now if we've got that, we need to start thinking about this business very seriously. We need to think about getting funding. We need to do all of those lovely business things to make sure that we can actually move forward with it. So the next step is all about creating a solid business plan. And in all honesty, I'm not a massive fan of the term business plan because it's just a very outdated term now. And when I think of it, I think of a 1,000 word document that gets sent to banks and this, that, and the other. And it's just a very outdated traditional thing. But we do still need all of that information, although it's just a lot more lightweight these days. So things we're going to include in that business plan, and the main reason why we need it is to determine if it's a viable business. So in that business plan, we're going to be creating all of the financials in there, all of the inputs and outputs. So what do we need to create? What do we need to buy? Do we need staff? And what are the outputs? So products and services that's going to be developed from the last step that we did, and resourcing, and it's going to touch upon marketing and advertising activities as well. So it's a comprehensive overview of your business and whether it's going to be viable in terms of making money or not. But for me, the main thing is to look at your financials and make sure that you've got an overview of the money you need to make this a business. But just to touch a little bit upon the financial side of things, because that is very, very important. And it's not just the costs up front to get this business up and running. I see a lot of people missing out the ongoing costs. So you need a cash flow forecast in there for a good 18 to 24 months. Although, if you're looking to get funding from an investor or a bank, you're going to have those anyway, but those are very important. And another really important thing that's going to come out of this business plan is your target market and how you're going to reach those. So it's all around your marketing and your advertising to get those sales in. And even if you don't need any funding from an investor or a bank, I would do this anyway. I would create a business plan because it gives you an overview of your entire business, all the inputs and outputs, as I mentioned before, the financials, and it just gives you a solid plan going forward. That's the main thing for a business plan. It gives you a good idea of the end-to-end process of getting your business up and running and the forecast for the first 12 to 24 months. And now we have our business plan in place and we know that it's going to be a goer and we can see this being a business for the long term. We're now going to revisit the MVP that we've got real world data on, and we're now going to reshape the the product to give us our final product to put to market. And the reason why I've left this until now is because you don't want to be doing all this work again, putting money, time and effort into something that you don't know whether the business is going to be viable or not. So we jumped a little bit, but we needed to put that business plan in place first. Once we tested the product out in real world, now we're going to actually put all the time, the effort and the money in to creating this final product. So out of the webinar, let's say you did a webinar as an example that I showed you in the second step, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the questions, feedback and any kind of data that we got, we're going to use that to update the product. Now, you might get questions coming out of that. You might get feedback, you might get emails, whatever it is. And we're going to use that to create themes, and then we're going to edit, reshape our product based on those themes. And something to watch out for in this step is you might get feedback that tells you that this might not be a good product at all. I know people have actually scrapped entire ideas. However, they've come up with brand new ideas from running these webinars, and actually these ideas were much better than their initial idea. And you've just got to be open to that, right? We've got to just drop the ego, and no matter what we like means nothing in this business. In business in general, it doesn't matter what we like, it's what the customers want, what the market wants, and that's what we're going to fulfill. And a few things to watch out for here and kind of feedback that might come through. Pricing, for example, might be something that people are not quite happy with. It might be something to do with that niche or the type of product that you're looking to sell. It could be the content in there. It might not be directed at the right target market, so you might need to make a change up there. It might be the type of language you're using. If you're targeting 18-year-olds, for example, and you're using too technical and difficult language in there, it might not be fit for purpose. And obviously, as I mentioned before, you might just have to switch the entire thing up. You might stay in that particular niche, but it's the type of product and service that people are actually looking for. Okay, so now we have our final product, and a situation you don't want to find yourself in is having a really good product, going straight out to market without any warm leads and trying to sell it, and it just falls flat, or it takes a very long time to build up because it can hit motivation and you might think, do you know what, let's scrap this, it's not working. But what we want to be doing, and what this step is all about, is building a presence over time before we release that product. This is a process where we are essentially building warm leads up over a long period of time. We don't want to just do things cold. We always want to warm things up, right, no matter what we're doing. But in business, having things as warm as possible, the customers, is vital. And so we're going to be building momentum by creating our social medias, and we're going to be posting content consistently over long periods of time. And what that's going to do in terms of warming up is it's going to build a presence in that particular niche. And by doing that, it's going to give your customers a long-term view of who you are and what you represent. So it's going to build trust, and it's going to build confidence in your new target market, which again is vital, especially when you're just launching your first product. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen people that have just come from nowhere. They've absolutely slammed marketing and advertising, paid loads for some PPC campaigns, that's pay-per-click campaigns, and they've made sales. But every single time, hands down, people have warmed the market up and they have essentially got warm leads. We'll blow those cold lead marketers and sellers out of the water. And this is not a flash in the pan type of thing, right? We're looking for a long-term business. We want loyal customers that have been warmed up, that have got trust and confidence in us, and just watch what your sales will do once you've done this. You'll blow anyone that just tries doing it cold out of the water. And as I mentioned before, we're going to do this through social media. The power at our hands now with the internet is absolutely insane, and we need to take full advantage of that. And I would go as far as saying that without that, you're not going to have a profitable business in 2023 and onwards. So while we're going to be posting a lot of consistent content out there, all aligned with our brand and our products and services, we're going to be doing things like offering freebies, we're going to be doing competitions, and we're going to be doing giveaways. So within that, again, it's all about building that community, and by giving freebies away and doing competitions, you're not only going to grow your reach, you're just going to build that trust and confidence even more. And while you're doing all of that, especially with the freebies, let's say for instance an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF or something like that you give away, you can create nice little sales pages that if they want it, if they want to download it, they will have to put their email address in there. So while we're posting content to build a community and trust and confidence, we're also doing a little bit of marketing there by getting those email lists and helping us when we're finally ready to launch that first product, which is another step in the entire process. But I don't think we need to cover another section on that. I think it's quite self-explanatory. Once you've got your website there, your social media accounts, and when you start delving into the advertising and marketing world, you just need to put your product out there. So you're basically ready now to start making some money. How exciting. But that is it for this video, guys. Just to summarize, so firstly, we need to conceptualize the idea. Once we've done that, we need to create the MVP and get some real world data. We then need to create a solid business plan to make sure that it's going to be a viable business. We're then going to be reshaping our MVP, and then we're going to be building a presence, which then we're going to be ready to launch our first product. So really hope you took a lot of value as always from this video. If you did, please like the video, please subscribe, and until next time,